Called it. I called it. I'm just saying, look, I'm a YouTuber. All these other people on YouTube are YouTube on YouTubers are YouTubers. Yes, everybody else on YouTube who's a YouTuber is also therefore a YouTuber. All of us YouTubers pretty much called that Bitcoin was going to break to the upside. Hey guys, what's going on? Called it Jeb here. I'm just kind of, reveling in the fact that everybody is saying they called this right now when it was kind of glaringly obvious. Guys, in yesterday's video, we talked about the weekly 9 flash on the TD Sequential, but twice in the intro of that video, I also mentioned to you guys that I'm bullish on Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin's going to break to the upside. Today's video was intended to be me explaining why I believe Bitcoin is going to break to the upside. As I referenced in yesterday's video, lo and behold, it broke to the upside. So, now we're going to explain why it broke to the upside, not why it will break to the upside. It's a past tense instead of future tense. Yeah. But guys, the thing is, I have found that you seem to enjoy most when I talk about something that no one else is talking about here on the YouTube platform. So, in this video, we are going to be talking about the breakout on Bitcoin. We are going to be talking about why it happened. We're going to be talking about where Bitcoin is heading. We're going to be talking about the resistance levels that Bitcoin will face. And we will be talking about the next 90 days on Bitcoin. But I also want to bring a counter-argument to all of that because I guarantee you haven't seen it on YouTube. Everybody's like, bullish, 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 time to party, even though Bitcoin actually only moved $400. It's not that big of a... It is important, but it's not like $20,000 or anything. So in this video, we're going to be doing all the hype and all the bull market stuff, but we're also going to be pulling back for a little bit and analyzing this from a level-headed perspective. I'm going to try my damnedest to figure out if there is anything that you guys need to know about that is a red flag and show it to you so that you have both sides of the argument. Because right now, the argument is very heavily on the bullish side, very heavily on the bullish case, and you're not seeing any of the bearish or neutral or anything to curtail the FOMO. So guys, we're going to be bringing you a fresh perspective here in today's video. I think you're going to get a lot of good value out of today's video. So if you do enjoy this video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps out the channel when you do that. Before we just go ahead and dive on into it, I want to give a shout out to everyone over in the first cohort. We've just started the coffee and crypto streams back up because I have fixed the internet issue I was having. So if you guys would like to join us for morning live streams 5 days a week and join these amazing people, not that way, then I encourage you to check us out at the link in the description down below. Many of you guys that are in CT2A, this is your next logical step. If you've joined CT2A, then you can get the first month of the first cohort absolutely for free. Just shoot us an email right after you join. More on that at the end of the video. But for now, though, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, I've been wondering for a while now whether or not we're making the right call to go ahead and do all of this expansion behind the channel. I'm hiring 2 new employees, like you guys know, and I'm putting an offer in on the office that we were looking at today, which is exciting, but that is going to more than double the overhead of this channel. And I was wondering, is this a good idea on Bitcoin? I predict that Bitcoin's going to break to the upside, but is it a good idea to spend that much money? Bitcoin just gave me the answer. The answer is most certainly yes. Guys, this is going to be an awesome year. Why is it going to be an awesome year? Because you guys are going to have a lot of fun trading Bitcoin when it goes into a damn bull market. That's why. We're going to do a little bit of the FOMO stuff because I am very excited that Bitcoin broke to the upside. Let's check out the reasons why. Guys, there were many, and I do mean many, technical indicators predicting bullishness on Bitcoin. We ran over all of them in like a video a week ago or something. I'll go ahead and run through them very quickly. Number 1, we're above the 20 daily EMA. Number 2, we had a golden cross on the daily chart. Number 3, the RSI is in prime territory between 55 and 75. Number 4, the MACD has had a golden cross. Number 5, out on the weekly chart, the RSI is in healthy territory also. Number 6, Bitcoin is above the 20 weekly EMA. Number 7, there is a golden and bullish cross on the weekly chart MACD. Number 8, Bitcoin bounced off of the 200 weekly exponential moving average. Number 9, there is about to be a cross between the 20 and the 50 moving averages out here on the weekly chart, which almost always invariably results in a bull market. Number 9, number 10, I don't know, maybe the editor can tell me. Bitcoin came down and bounced off of the 30 to 33 level down here on the weekly chart RSI, which, as we talked about in a video not that long ago, has only ever happened 4 times in the history of Bitcoin. Every single time it happens, a bull market invariability ensues. Needless to say, guys, we have covered over a dozen reasons that a bull market is more than likely going to be starting right now. We covered all of them. We talked about why Bitcoin is going to break to the upside. We talked about why it's likely it's going to break this downtrending level of resistance. We've been talking about it for like a month. Now, guys, we have been talking about the bearish cases, and we have been talking about the bearish arguments for Bitcoin. The main reason that we've been discussing that is because I wanted to make sure you guys had both sides of the argument, both sides of the coin, because pretty much everyone has, rightfully so, been bullish on Bitcoin for the last couple of weeks. And by the way, there are still more reasons why Bitcoin should have broken bullish here. Prime among them was the fact that Bitcoin was in a consolidation pattern, in a symmetrical triangle pattern after an uptrend, which means that this has about a 70% chance likelihood of breaking to the upside alone without everything I just said. So yes, it makes sense that Bitcoin broke to the upside. So what levels of resistance are we looking at, and where may Bitcoin be heading over the next couple of weeks? Well, as you can see, I have had drawn on my chart here for a very long time a very important zone of resistance. And this is going to tie into why this breakout on Bitcoin is so significant. Bitcoin has set two highs previously in this territory, in between $10,000 and $10,500. Some people draw this a little differently. That is the region that I draw this in. And notice, I want to make a point here, guys. Some technical indicators are going to tell you some things that other technical indicators don't. In this case, for example, the VPVR is not showing that there's a massive VPVR climax right here, even though it's an important zone of resistance. The reason I bring that up as a side note is to point out that the VPVR's job is to show you zones of resistance, but it's not the only tool that is used for doing that. There are different tools to do the same job. You need all of them, which is why you need a proper understanding of all of technical analysis. Anyway, back to the point at hand. We've seen Bitcoin rally to this territory twice in the last 12 months. The last time that Bitcoin was actually trading above that territory was nearly 300 days ago in September of last year. So needless to say, if Bitcoin were to break bullish above that zone of resistance, it would be a very good thing for Bitcoin. Not to mention the fact that the yearly high for Bitcoin is $10,500, and last night we rallied to $10,425. So this is all well and good. Bitcoin has broken the long-term downtrending level of resistance on the logarithm chart as far as everybody can tell. We have set a higher high here in this uptrend that we've been in ever since Black Thursday back in March. The market looks very bullish. The market looks very healthy. Let's talk about price targets, and then we're going to see if there's anything that we need to be aware of, because yes, it's easy to say Bitcoin broke to the upside. It's just going to go up forever, but anyone who has a lick of experience in this market is worth a pinch of their own salt will tell you that Bitcoin is going to have a correction at some point following this. So where is it, and what do we need to be on the lookout for? We'll talk about that here in a second, so stay tuned. Before we get to that, I do just first want to talk price targets. Guys, there's something fascinating going on Bitcoin right now, and that is the fact that we don't have much resistance above us anymore. As you can see, as we get closer and closer to $14,000, the VPVR just kind of trails off into nothing because there is not much trading up there unless you go back to the beginning of 2018. $10,000 may only be half of the way to $20,000, but let me tell you something. As far as zones of resistance are concerned, as far as VPVR resistance is concerned, we're actually probably 70% of the way to $20,000, to be totally honest, even though we're not based on price figures, but you get my point. So what's the price target here, guys? Well, it really depends on where you're looking for resistance, because it could be anywhere from $11,000 to $20,000. We're talking time frame here. So let's narrow in on exactly what we're talking about and be a little more specific. Where do we expect Bitcoin to be a month from today? Well, guys, Bitcoin is looking so bullish right now that we don't really have any overarching moving averages to worry about. We have no moving averages to rally up to and test, so those are out of the equation. What we are then left with are levels of resistance that we had used previously. When you get this high in a market, it becomes difficult to actually find levels of resistance when there's not a lot of previous price history to look at. One obvious level of resistance is going to be $11,000. As we can see, there is a significant amount of trading in that zone right over here. At $11,000 roughly, we saw tests of that level. Right there is resistance, right there is resistance, right there is resistance, right here is support 3 times, and Bitcoin also got support on it right there. For those of you guys in CT2A, you will also recognize $11,000 as a mass psychological level because it has 3 zeros in it. People are more likely to put trades, and in this case, sell orders or short orders in around a big even like $11,000. They're much more likely to do that around a whole number, not around $10,769.420. You know, it's going to be more specific and more even, such as $11,000. So with that said, obviously $11,000 is going to be a big level of resistance. The next one above that, guys, I'm going to be quite honest with you, it really is looking like $14,000, or actually about $13,700. We can look for levels of resistance over here in 2017, but to be honest with you guys, they're 2.5 years away. They're not that important anymore. What's really important is this more recent bear market and what that looks like. So guys, look, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I do want to make one thing very clear though also. I have seen time and time again markets break to the upside out of a symmetrical triangle pattern like this. They break up, everybody gets really exuberant, everybody enters long positions right here, and That's what happens. Bitcoin crashes. It has happened on Ethereum more times than I can count. I remember there was a case of it back over here where Ethereum broke into a consolidation pattern, a symmetrical triangle pattern in April of 2018, broke into it like this, broke out, and then guess what happened following that breakout? Over the next 200 days, Ethereum would lose 90% of its value. Now, two things. Yes, I'm aware that was part of a head and shoulders pattern. Yes, I'm aware that was in 2018. Yes, I'm aware it's Ethereum and not Bitcoin. Yes, I'm aware it's on the US dollar chart. There's also the Bitcoin chart. I'm aware of all that. My point stands. Sometimes Bitcoin will go into a symmetrical triangle pattern, break bullish, everybody gets exuberant, everybody buys in, and then everybody loses their money because Bitcoin decides for itself what it wants to do, not us mere mortals and plebeians down here trading the Bitcoins. So I want to make myself clear, that's not me predicting that happens, but it is me warning you and cautioning you and trying to curtail the FOMO, because there is so much FOMO in the crypto market right now. I have seen 15 exclamation marks in every single title of every video uploaded in the last 14 hours. I mean, honestly, good on them. They're playing the YouTube game. I ain't upset. But I do need to make sure you guys are safe because I care about you. One more thing to mention also is that volume is increasing. As you guys are probably aware, Bitcoin's volume has been trailing off over the last month or so as Bitcoin was moving into this consolidation pattern. Remember what happens in consolidation patterns. Tension builds, volatility falls off, retail interest typically will fall off on one this large, volume will fall off, and liquidity will fall off as well. The order books will be thinner. So when Bitcoin breaks out, you want to see all of those things return. You want to see the tension break out, and that's where you normally see the explosive movements coming from. You want to see the volume return, which we've seen. You want to see the volatility return, which we've seen. That's kind of that tension being broken. And you also want to see liquidity returning. The order books have many more orders on them right now than they used to. A good way of showing that is on the 4-hourly chart here on the longs chart. You can see in the last 24 hours alone on the longs chart over on Bitfinex, we have seen a 20% increase in longs. And likewise, because there's going to be bulls and bears at all times, we've seen a 28% increase on short positions opening. So before I move on to the next part of this video, I want to make it very clear right here so that nobody ats me in the comment section. You hear me? Don't at me. Thank you. I want to make it very clear. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I think we're heading to 11,000. I think we're heading higher. I think this is going to be a great year. I think this is finally it for Bitcoin. I think we have a great chance of moving to the upside. I think this may be the beginning of the road to 20K. You look at the history, you look at halving events, which by the way, that was another one of our bull market warning signs. When you look at halving events going through, they almost always lead to a massive rally in the next 2 years to follow. So I am bullish on Bitcoin. However, as I've said, it's important that we look at both arguments to make sure we're not missing anything. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to be looking for ways to disprove Bitcoin being bullish. That does not mean that I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I am bullish on Bitcoin. I am playing devil's advocate for your sake. So just, I want to make sure that's known. Okay, good. Let's go. Number one, something that you do need to be paying close attention to is the TD Sequential on the weekly chart. We talked about this in yesterday's video, and I didn't really explain exactly what the TD Sequential is or why it's so important. Guys, essentially all the TD Sequential is this. The TD Sequential is a mathematical equation, just like any other technical indicator, that uses the counting of candlesticks on the chart to predict when a trend has been going on for too long and there has not been a correction for the bulls or for the bears. It's a way of understanding. It's kind of like the RSI of giving overbought and oversold signals insofar as you need the market to have a correction and move to the downside for a little bit to reset the bullish trend, or move to the upside a little bit to reset the bearish trend, and the TD Sequential is a way of showing that. It is a very powerful technical indicator, useful on many of the higher time frames. As we discussed in yesterday's video, Bitcoin is flashing a 9 on the TD Sequential, which does indicate a downturn. Someone misunderstood TD Sequential the other day and said, oh, well, if it rallies to 9 and then has to go back down to 9, then it's just a coin toss. You know who you are, commenter. I'm not mad at you. You just misunderstood the way this is calculated. As you can see, the TD Sequential does not have to go to 9. As we saw, we only went to 6 there. We went to 2 there. We went to 4 there. We flip-flopped. We only went to 4 there. TD Sequential does not have to go to 9, but when it does, it's normally a very important signal, and as you can see, we're seeing a 9 flash on this weekly candlestick. Now, something you'll notice looking at the history of the TD Sequential is it has a built-in grace period of 3 candlesticks for the market to continue moving in the same trend direction before it has that correction. We saw a 9 flash here on April 1st at the beginning of this bull market. Bitcoin flat out ignored it. This very rarely happens on the TD Sequential, but it did happen this time, and in my opinion, it's why Bitcoin stopped at 14K and didn't keep going. After 3 candlesticks, that's nearly a month, because we're out here on the weekly chart, you should expect some kind of correction for about 2 weeks to reset the TD. We never saw 2 continuous weeks of red here in this uptrend, so Bitcoin never reset its TD Sequential, which is part of the reason why we continued to trend to the downside here in 2019. So all this flash out here in the TD Sequential means is that within the next 5 to 8 weeks, we need to see 2 continuous weeks of red. That's all it means. They don't have to be very big red candlesticks. That's all it means. It's not saying that the entire bull market is going to crash. It's simply saying that we need to have a grace period for the bears to take their profits. That's something we've been preaching on this channel forever. 2 candlesticks of consecutive red. That's all we need. It's not going to knock out a bull market, not going to stop anything. It just means that we're having healthy correction. Guys, in 2016 and 17, Bitcoin would consistently pull back 40%. 40% in the span of a month to reset the market. It's very healthy for Bitcoin to do that. I'm not saying that the TD Sequential is going to knock out the bull market, but it is something you need to pay attention to because those 2 weeks of red that we are almost invariably going to see in the next 8 weeks or so are going to be important because it might be in a buy-in position and it might wreck you in a short position or a long position if you're not careful. Furthermore, guys, playing devil's advocate for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just broken to the upside, and this is going to take a while to update, but you need to understand when Bitcoin is moving into a bull market, it needs to have the full force of the retail adoption coming in behind it. It needs to have institutional interest behind it. There's a very good reason why Bitcoin does not go into bull markets when it's not in a bull market. It's because no one from the outside world is interested in it. If Bitcoin can only go up to, say, $15 during a trading sideways time, it's only going to go up to $15 because no one is coming in to add more money to allow it to go farther to the upside. If we're going to stay above $10,000 and continue a bull market, we need to see an influx of retail and institutional interest and investment in this space. And I think we're going to see that, by the way. I'm not saying we aren't, but it is what needs to happen. One thing I want to mention also, guys, is that the altcoins are doing phenomenally well. A lot of times you're going to see the altcoins following Bitcoin, and that is a good sign. We see that there's only maybe 10 red altcoins right now. The majority of them are in the green, some of them being up over 10%. That's a very good sign, and I'll tell you why. There's an old adage, and this is something I try to live by in business. When one person makes money and every person makes money, everyone makes more money. If Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency rallying and none of the altcoins are moving, all of the altcoins are going to drag Bitcoin down because they are going to be the Debbie Downer in the party. They're going to be the party poopers and they're going to crash everything. If the altcoins are moving with Bitcoin, which means that they're all rallying, but Bitcoin's dominance isn't really changing, that is a good sign. So we are seeing that happen. We are seeing the altcoins move. That is a good sign. And guys, I've shown you 2 things here that are going to be important to pay attention to. I'm going to show you one more, and that is simply this. Bitcoin broke a downtrend of resistance that's 3 years long. Why did we only break it by 1 or 2 percentage points? Guys, Bitcoin broke a massive downtrend of resistance, and excuse me, not 1 or 2 percentage points. Bitcoin broke it by 7 percentage points. That's a good breakout. Bitcoin did move at maximum something like $600, $700, $800, but you may have expected a little bit more movement. I think we're going to see a little bit more movement in the next couple of days. Just something for you to chew on. If Bitcoin has a downtrend of resistance that is 3 years long, what did we learn from the strength of support and resistance levels video in CT2A? We learned that the longer the trend is, the stronger the trend is. This is an extremely long-term trend, so when you break a strong trend, you expect a massive move. We might have expected something bigger than this. That can either mean, 1, Bitcoin isn't quite as bullish as we want to yet, and we'll get there, or it means that this breakout isn't over and Bitcoin's about to rally. So guys, that's my take on the market. I know this is a longer video, but I want to make sure you guys understand all the facets of what's going on right now. It's important to me that you guys are safe, and because of that, I'm going to end the video with this. I know that many of you guys are going into long positions right now. I know a few of you guys are going into short positions right now. I know everybody is starting to deploy money in different ways. I know many of you guys are saying, oh, bull run, bull run, bull run, bull run. Honey, sell the home. I want to buy some Bitcoin. Pump the brakes a little bit. I want you guys to be careful. Bitcoin does look like it's moving into a bull market. Bitcoin does look like it's very healthy right now. Bitcoin is about to break, I think, the yearly high of around $10,500. We're only a couple $100 from doing that. I am very bullish on Bitcoin right now, and I will be deploying even more capital into Bitcoin than I already have. I'm already sitting on a bunch because I've been accumulating for the last year. But I want to make sure you guys are safe. I want to make sure you guys are careful. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you are planning to do anything rash with your money on Bitcoin, 2 days isn't going to make that much of a difference on Bitcoin. I would encourage you, before you go and drop $5,000 in Bitcoin, or before you put 10% of your net worth into Bitcoin, hold off for 48 hours. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. This is friendly advice, not financial advice. This is a different kind of FA, so don't sue me. You know, I'd appreciate it if you don't sue me. Thank you. If you want my advice, which if you're watching this video, I think you do, I would encourage you, before you make any massive movements, because I know there are some of you guys watching this video that are about to make a massive movement, like sell your car and buy Bitcoin. Before you do any of that, because I've seen so many people get wrecked and so many people's lives be ruined by doing things like that, hold off for 48 hours. That's 2 days. Bitcoin might be trading, I don't know, Bitcoin might be trading at $12,000 by then, for all I know. Sure, your entry price might be 10 or 20% higher at absolute worst case scenario. But if you're planning on investing in Bitcoin for the next 3, 5, 10 years, it's not going to make a difference because Bitcoin's going to be over $100,000 by then anyway. I always tell people when something massively... I had a friend who had something really emotional happen, and they were about to make a big financial decision during that time. I said, give yourself a week, let the emotions cool, and then make that decision. It is extremely easy, even if you think you're not FOMOing, even if you think you're not fudding because your short position is in red, even if you think that your emotions are not messing with you, I can almost guarantee you, after watching all these videos that are going up on YouTube, and after seeing all the technicals being very bullish, it's easy for those emotions to get in, even if you don't recognize them. So guys, I encourage you guys to be aggressive in your learning. I encourage you to work hard and make a lot of money and be diligent and learn and profit. But I also encourage you, be careful, be safe. There's no point in taking a massive risk with small amounts of return. Think about how much risk you're going to mitigate by giving yourself 48 hours to think about, mull over, and pray or whatever about the trade or position that you're about to take. It's invaluable. I promise you guys, if you're going in for an investment, that will work wonders if you incorporate that into your trading. Anyway, guys, that is all I have to say for this video. This raw file is over 31 minutes long now, which is a little ridiculous, so apologies to Taylor, who is out in Colorado trying to enjoy herself, and I keep making her work 7 days a week, but we're working on that. We have a new editor. Say hi to John, everybody. Anywho, guys, before we go, I do just want to mention one thing, and that would actually be the first cohort, because as you guys probably know, we do something called the Coffee and Crypto morning stream, and yeah, it looks like I need to run to the kitchen real quick after we're done and get some more Joe before we start the live stream, but we are going to be doing the Coffee and Crypto live stream here in about half an hour after recording this video. Everyone in the first cohort gets access to 5 days a week of the Coffee and Crypto morning live stream. And if you guys are interested in that live stream, I encourage you to check us out at the link in the description down below, where we'll be doing some live analysis on Bitcoin and its market. Bitcoin just broke out, and right now, oh, check this out. Guys, this is what I was talking about. This is like, I gotta just kind of pump the brakes on the outro for the video here. This is why I was telling you to be careful. You see this? Bitcoin's trading at $9,900 now. Check this out. Okay, we're going to add a little bit here in the end of the video. Down 3%. See? Yep. Down 4%. Guys, what did I just tell you? What did I just tell you? I don't know what's going to happen here on Bitcoin. It's trading at 97.71 right now. I was telling you to be careful. I was telling you to be careful because I don't want you to invest in Bitcoin at the very top, because I've seen people do that. Be very careful about putting a bunch of money in Bitcoin. Be very careful about going into 100x long right now. This is what I was talking about. When you're seeing a massive breakout on Bitcoin, you want to wait a couple days to see if Bitcoin can hold that breakout. Because oftentimes, as what I showed you on Ethereum earlier, you'll break bullish and then crash immediately. You don't want to get caught in a trade while it does that. Bitcoin is fickle. So unfortunately, this video is so long that if something crazy happens, we'll have to make another one. But as you can see, Bitcoin's bouncing now, so it's okay. As I was saying, we're going to be doing the Coffee and Crypto live stream here in a little bit so that quick movements like this can be caught on stream. We stream over on Twitch 5 days a week. If you want to join the first cohort, the link's in the description down below. You'll be getting access to about 10 videos over in the first cohort that are going to give you ideas about trading and help you along in your trading journey. And you're also going to be getting access to those morning Coffee and Crypto live streams. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this video uploading so I can go ahead and stream, because I know those guys over there are wondering what's going on. So that is going to have to wrap it out for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. But anyway, guys, before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.